Hello and welcome back to Fanboys of Gaming Podcast. I am one of your only two hosts tonight, Christopher.
And I'm Michael.
And Justin isn't here.
No, Justin's in no service land.
He's in a very dark place. You put anyone nowadays in a no internet zone and they're going to feel like they're cavemen.
Exactly.
Or cave women.
It's hard to live without the internet.
It is hard to live without the internet. Look what we're doing. What we're doing is all about the internet.
Exactly.
All right, we got some nice stuff for you today. We got some stuff on the NX, which is kind of something interesting to me. I don't really understand where they're going with it. Some stuff on Black Ops 3. Mike got to play the open beta. We've got a huge chunk of information on Destiny. Huge, specifically insiders look at the Taken King, and then what's with the Vita, Michael? Tell me about what we've got on the PlayStation Vita.
This was yesterday at the time we're recording this, April 22nd. A video popped up on YouTube, and this guy was showing off what he claims to be a prototype of the PlayStation Vita, and from what I read about the article, there's about 100 variations of it that they went through. Now that could mean anything from like they tweaked where one button was or whatever, and so on and so forth. But this Vita is very, very different from the Vita that came out in retail, when it was more similar to the PlayStation, the PSP Go or the PS Go, the phone that came out with.
I don't know what the PS Go is.
It's a phone Sony came out with a while ago, and the screen slid up sideways, like phones that had the horizontal keyboard back in the day, and
like the Duo, the Pantech Duo.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was the phone.
Any phone with a sliding keyboard, that's what it was. But underneath the screen was the directional pad, the PlayStation buttons, and then start and select. So you could download from the PlayStation Store like games that were on the PSP, or not the Vita at the time, but the PSP, and sometimes classics, PS2, whatever. But this Vita that came out was very similar to that design. The only difference being that there were joysticks on the outside of the screen, but the screen still slid up in the directional pad, and the buttons were there underneath it.
I don't know.
It was pretty weird.
I feel like they did a good job going away from the sliding. That's just a bad idea. That's just gonna break.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I just remembered something. Michael, do you remember that? I think it was a phone you had where you slid up the keyboard.
Yeah, and I just broke the screen right off.
And the screen just popped right off.
Yeah, that's why sliding phones don't exist anymore.
Oh my god!
Turn your phone and just keep sliding it all day. Or people would do it. I'd do it out of like nervous twitch. I'd just sit there and just go like this and just slide my phone back and forth, and probably ruined it. But
the evolution of the touchscreen.
Exactly. When they were crappy, no one liked them.
All right. The NX. Now this is something that you wouldn't really expect from Nintendo, and I say that because Nintendo has never been always about the tech. It hasn't always been about how upgraded the console is. It's sorely been on basically how fun the gameplay is or how you play the game. But what's throwing people off is that, and these are only rumors, but consoles go through getting these patents, so that they have a hold on everything that's in the console itself, so that no one else can use it. And they filed no application for a patent on their disk drive.
Yeah,
all other regular components, but no, so I mean, someone like me would infer that this is going to be a download-only console.
Yeah, or maybe you download them onto a disk drive or something like a hard drive. You know what I mean? Like a removable hard drive. But yeah, it was weird. The people are claiming it's the NX patent, and it's sort of a build showing how everything's pieced together, what parts and pieces they use, and there's no disk drive in it.
Supposedly, these are only the NX is still in its earliest phases. we won't know anything until for sure until we actually see them reveal it. But I mean, I wouldn't. I think all viewers would infer the same thing
Yeah.
personally.
Well, if there's no disk drive, what are you gonna do? I mean, they could just pull an Apple and just be like, "There's no disk drive, but if you want a disk drive, $35. You plug it into a USB
I
port."
don't know.
I
I
doubt
feel
they'd do
like
that, but
I feel like the hard drive on Nintendo machines is not the hard drive on Nintendo machines are not large at all. At
well,
least
no, they've
nothing,
never needed to be.
nothing compared. Exactly, there was never a need for it. Um, I can't. I mean, but supposedly the NX is supposed to be supposedly a huge change from what Nintendo's been doing. Um, so for all we know, they could be making that jump into what I like to think of as real world gameplay. And when I say that, I mean that um, the gameplay outside the world of Nintendo. Nintendo has so many first party games. Those are the games that really sell for them.
Exactly.
Are their first party games? You know, in Xbox and Sony, they don't really have all that many. Um,
No,
so
they have them. They just don't have iconic
yeah,
characters.
yeah.
But I get what you're saying. But I'm just
Um,
differentiating in case somebody decides to get mad.
this could be this could be like their entrance into, we're still going to make our first party games, but we're also opening up to the rest of the gaming world.
Yeah. Well, that's what's
Um,
been hurting them is they don't want to do third party games a lot of the time.
yeah,
So, but I mean, it's whatever they want to do.
yeah. I mean, it'd be really interesting to see, but I believe myself that it will have a disk drive, and which is being overlooked for some reason. I can't think of any reason. Like,
Yeah.
they have so much money stored up that they could. I think I read a fun fact about it. Like, they could stay active for years with no, like, for decades with like no profit whatsoever, and they'd survive for like a few decades.
Yeah.
Um,
Their biggest problem is all this research and development they're doing on their consoles that aren't selling.
yeah. I highly doubt that they'd go like, all right, let's take out the disk drive and we'll just put in a really huge hard drive. I don't feel like they'd go in that direction, but that's just me.
I mean,
Unless
if
they're
they
trying to one up PlayStation and Xbox.
maybe Nintendo
In some
just
sort.
doesn't want to produce discs anymore. Discs are
Yeah.
expensive, and they're the
So are a
publishing
bunch of hard
company.
drives.
Yeah, but they're the publishing company for all their games. So theoretically, if they were to just do what they're doing right now, which is almost all first party, then they don't have to pay discs for discs anymore. That's a lot of games. A lot of like Zelda and Mario usually sell in the couple of millions. So that's a couple, you know, 10, $20 million you don't have to pay in
Oh
to
yeah,
get the disc printed, to get the box, make box art for it.
okay.
So
That's a very fair argument. We are clearly not going to agree on this, so we're going to move
no.
on. Um, all right, tell me a little bit about the Black Ops 3 beta because I did
So
not play it.
I have fun with the Black Ops 3 beta. I was excited. It ran from Friday night to Sunday night for everybody on PlayStation because Treyarch decided they wanted everybody to play it on PlayStation, not just people that pre-ordered it. Obviously, it hasn't come to Xbox yet, but I have to assume it will this week, maybe not next week, because to
Like,
assume.
tell me about the gameplay.
Oh, sorry, I'm rambling on about it. My bad. No, the gameplay was awesome. It's very, very limited. It's more of a combination of Black Ops 2 and Advanced Warfare more than just kind of Advanced Warfare reskinned. You know what I mean? They adjusted the boost. The boost doesn't take you everywhere and anywhere anymore. You can only really double jump with it and use it to slide. The wall running works really well. You have to
As long as
press.
you use it right.
Yeah, as long as you press the left stick when you bump up into the wall. Because there were a couple times I went to wall run when I didn't know what I was doing, and I would go and I'd jump against the wall, and then I'd just fall to my death, and just die like an idiot. I just like, and
Now,
go ahead.
now, something that you told me. for any of you who have played Titanfall, Titanfall was an Xbox One. I believe it was a release title. It was like the first-person shooter because let's face it, when Ghost came out, everyone got it for the 360. No one wanted to wait till the one came out.
Yeah.
It was their first-person shooter release. Like it was made by the people it was made by Treyarch. It was made by. Oh no, I think it was made by Sledgehammer actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Sledgehammer.
Yeah, it was made by Sledgehammer. Yeah. But if any of you have played Titanfall, the first-person gameplay, not in the Titans. I'm talking about when you are
A foot
just
soldier.
a foot soldier. Yeah, the gameplay, from what I understand, is a lot similar to that. It's the wall running, and it's like. From what I understand, Advanced Warfare is all the buildings are really low, or at least the ones you can climb on. But how the maps in Titanfall are buildings are huge, weapons are really long range, and using wall running and you're double jumping, you could get like just about anywhere. You could grab onto ledges, grapple. I actually loved the way you got around in Titanfall, and that was something I felt so grounded when I played Advanced Warfare. And that's funny considering they just got the jump kit. But the point I'm trying to make is that the mapping won't be so much this and this. It'll be more like this and that. You're going to have a really tall space of movement. You're going to get sniped by someone that's hundreds of feet above you in game. Stuff like that. It's really cool. I'm really excited to see it. I'm really excited to play it myself.
I didn't get to play many maps. I think they only released 3 or 4 maps for the beta because I'd only played through a handful of them. And I was curious as the map rotation went on. I was like, are they putting in more maps, or is like this is it? Because I probably played the same like 3 maps over and over again. But it was fine because it showed you how they work with the environment. Bless you. I'm assuming you sneezed.
No, I yawned.
Oh, okay. They showed the reason they picked those maps. I feel like is it shows very much what you can do with the environment. One of the maps is set in a mountainside, on the cliff of a mountain, and it's very much like a resort kind of thing. There's river that runs from the top of the map here to about here, right, and it overlooks the lowest point of the map. So yes. Well, I'm detailing it so that people can know that the way the map works is you can be here, here, or here, and they all like wrap around and connect in one way or another, or you can jump to it or whatever, in one way, shape, or form. But the two biggest things I liked about it is that there's underwater combat. You can swim, but you can also shoot. I saw that in the trailer. Yeah, you can shoot while you're underwater, and it works. Pretty well. It's a little bit hard to see. The way the water is designed is very murky, so you can't see more than maybe 10 feet in front of your character. So somebody could pop up like right in front of you. But other than that, it works good. There's a difference between it's the same thing as running and walking in there. You can like press the sprint button to swim faster, but it obviously puts your gun away.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But it's very fluid, and and they made sure when you look at it,
fluid.
Almost anywhere where you surface in that water, you could get out with either the jump kit or just like a climb up a ledge. So
I gotcha.
But it was also a very good way to escape, because when somebody's shooting at you, you could just dive down into this river and you just got away. So, but the other thing I want to talk about that was a big deal is the character design. The way the characters are designed, I hadn't known this about Black Ops 3, is that your character model is based off of which call sign you pick. And each call sign has 2 different special abilities, and you get to pick one or the other.
You know what that makes me think of, correct?
Destiny
classes.
Yeah.
With subclasses.
Basically. But they're not... I feel they are moderate, at least from the one I used. They got it right. Because when you use this bow and arrow with the character, it took a second to line up. But if you got it dead on and you shot him, it killed him instantaneously. but it also took you that second to charge up the bow before you could hit them, so they had plenty of time to shoot at you too. And they give you 5 arrows. Like, I'm talking about the character I specifically used. They gave me 5 arrows, and the special has a certain time limit for that one. So if you don't use it within the time limit, it's gone. If you use up all the arrows, it's gone before the time limit, and so on and so forth. I didn't check out the other ones because I was just not particularly interested in their abilities, but a lot of them have some really cool stuff. Some of the guns are really cool. There's this one specifically, it's designed like a shotgun, but also like that laser gun from Advanced Warfare that's almost like the Spartan laser.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, instead of a laser, though, it's an electrical shock. So, but it was good. I liked it a lot. It looks good, plays good. It was fun to play.
Now, even though we are all excited for Black Ops 3 beta, I think a lot of gamers, whether you're excited for it or not, want to see what the Taken King from Destiny is going to do. And from reading gaming magazines and from online posts, I have a huge bounty of information, and this is some really cool stuff. Mike, I know you're probably more into this than I am. Tell us about Vault Space.
Oh, the Vault Space. Yes, Bungie did a live stream the other day where they came out and really you saw a bunch of these new details and stuff like that. And one of the last things they talked about was Vault Space. The Vault Space is being doubled, and from what I believe from reading is that each individual category is being doubled. I might be wrong. It might be double just the space in general, but I assume that it's double each category.
Yeah, I would assume it's double each category.
Because, like, a lot of people have too many guns that they can't hold in the vault, and it's very difficult for them to. It takes a long time for you to load into the tower or the Vestian outpost and grab your stuff and get out.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So.
All right. One of the things that I was really excited about is for the fans of Destiny, you may have noticed that there was no new dialogue for your ghost in both The Dark Below and House of Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, aside from his first recorded stuff, the stuff that you hear when you bring him out to scan something, his dialogue was completely unchanged. He got nothing new because they just couldn't get a hold of the person, Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, yeah.
Yeah, he's too busy being on a throne game. Not a sponsor. One of the things, though, that this brings me to that point, that this is really story-based. They're throwing a lot of cutscene. You're going to learn more about the Vanguard. There's going to be a lot of communication. And the best example is, I know I think the first mission of the Taken King, your ghost actually has a conversation with the 3 Vanguard over the comm while you are in a firefight. And just little nuggets like that. Aside from the normal gameplay, all you'd get was you'd hear someone talking while the level was loading, and that's all you'd get.
Yeah.
The best way to describe it is there was one small section in House of Wolves like that where the Queen and Barracks were talking to you while you were fighting, talking about some sort of rare Scorch cannon. But for someone like me, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
The story needed to be richer. It really did. Let's see. Okay. Destinations. Now, I don't know destinations for sure. I don't know about free roaming, like you can at the Cosmodrome or the Moon. But I do know that there will, aside from the Dreadnought, we all know about the Dreadnought. It's a ship with free roam, patrol, da-da-da-da. I know for a fact, though, there is a mission on Phobos, which is, I believe, a moon of Mars or Venus. I think it's Mars. It's Mars. I remember.
Yeah.
It's a moon of Mars, and there's a mission on Mercury as well.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be free roam on it, but there could be. I mean, they're more than doubling the content, so...
True. I'm interested in seeing some new places. The games they put in a lot of detail, in the areas in which we play it from the beginning. So I'm excited to see some
Yeah.
new places, though. Maybe
Oh
fight
yeah.
some new enemy types or something like that. I know the Taken will be in there, and the Taken behave differently and this and that, but
Taken are cool. Taken are
yeah,
scary.
yeah, they are terrifying.
Okay. What else we have? Drop rates. Drop rates are so cool for all of you people raging, never gotten a Galahorn or an Icebreaker, no matter how many times you play. Um, you can the drop rates and the random number generator are totally being reworked for
Yeah,
all of you people freaking out about not getting the guns you want or constantly getting the same guns over and over. Mike, wasn't it you that told me that supposedly a new random number generator will kind of like help prevent you from keep getting the same thing over and over again?
yeah. From what I understand, is how the coding works is it sees what you have or it records what you have been given, and it puts that as the least likely percentage and onward. So whatever, if you got the same gun twice in a row, it's gonna put that at the very bottom and have it be the least percentage or not at all included in what's randomly generated. And then it also will take a look at things you don't have and try to put them up higher in the percentage. But obviously, if it's like an exotic, if you don't own like 16 exotics, you're not going to get 4 exotic drops in a row.
Yeah.
But it's that they're reworking the system so that you actually feel rewarded for the things you do, and they're changing that with in story missions too. Story missions are supposed to drop better loot now. They're supposed to have a much higher chance of legendary, from what I understand. It's not like a guarantee, but it's better than what it has been.
All right. As long as we're talking about weapons and armor, um, one of the points that was made was that despite you having most of us who are at not most of us, all of us that are at level 34 have legendary armor and exotic armor. However, it was very clear to tell that something that was quoted from a Bungie employee was that better weapons and better armor are not only are they going to be really easy to come by, like really easy from like the first 2 levels you play, but they're also not even going to be legendary. You could get like all of us, all of you guys who don't play that, who don't have all the super armor. You probably have the Kel Hunter armor or the Kel Breaker, all the stuff you got from Varix. Supposedly, you could get an uncommon or a rare piece of armor, and it'll be even better than that. Which is, I don't really understand. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
It's being from what I understand is now on the basis of the light system being reworked. They are I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. I have no idea. The armor actually focuses on what armor should be. It focuses on your statistics. It is more focused on your defense. Is more focused on what does what. Certain pieces of armor, even when you get a full set, sometimes the full set has stats in weird ways that don't line up.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be reworking that system so that way it makes more sense. Like if you get a whole set of armor that is one collective set, it won't be nearly as bad as it is now, where it's very randomized, and the stats even for the same pieces of armor can be completely different. I went and bought a second pair of the same exotic boots I had that I never even use because it had like 20 plus higher stats on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. People will trade in an entire set of armor they already use and go use a different set of armor because it gives them better stats.
Yeah.
So.
Which. Oh man, I can branch into 2 different directions from this. We'll go with light level and XP. They're totally being reworked. I know that XP level will go up to 40.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from what I understand, light level could also possibly go up to level 40 or higher. Something else I know is that to quote someone else from Bungie, is that they didn't want your light level to be determined by just four pieces of armor. So almost everything you use, weapons, armor, your cloak, your mark, your whatever the warlocks have.
Bonds.
The bonds.
Yeah.
There we go. Um, even your ghost shell like will determine different ways of leveling up your light.
Can I stop you right there?
Sure.
Because when you say ghost shell, it makes me wonder: is this finally the time where we get ghost shells?
I thought I was the only one who didn't have a ghost shell.
No, no, we all have the exact same ghost shell unless you own the ghost edition.
I
I'm
thought you could
meaning
get ghosts from like certain ways. I thought
no,
you could like get ghosts from like special orders or something.
no. The only ghost edition came with its own ghost, and it was a red and white skin for the
Uh,
ghost. But that is the only other skin. There are no other skins for ghosts. There's obviously areas where you can get skins, and this makes me believe that they will come out with skins. Probably not a ton of them, but or
mm.
maybe they'll change it to where it's affected by your emblem, and instead of doing skins, they'll do different designs for each one. Maybe.
Yeah. All right. And then something that I think is cool, and people who are playing Prison of Elders level 34 and 35 week after week after week to get that Etheric Light, there are new ways to upgrade old armor. And from what I understand, it's going to be like you can destroy a piece of armor in the same class um, to add defensive power and light to a piece of armor in that same category. If I want to level up my one pair of gauntlets, I can sacrifice maybe like two or three other pairs of gauntlets to try and get that level up high.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us that want to keep using our old armor, not to say that the new armor won't be really cool.
Yeah, but as of right now, most armors, with the exception of raid armor or armor from like Varix, they don't do anything usually exceptionally well. It's basically the same perks over and over again. They don't really do anything that's very specific. I wish they would come up with archetypes like that. Like if you, hypothetically, let's say if you get all the pieces of one armor set, it would give you some boost, not a statistical boost maybe, but like a perk, like a class perk. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Like
I
something
understand.
stupid like you switch guns faster or something like that. It's just like an extra perk that set of armor doesn't have. I would like to see some stuff like that. I know I'm asking for over the top stuff that Bungie's not even looking at, but
Well, since you brought that up, the last point for the Taken King is that almost all of the changes are brought about due to public opinion. And I love that. It's really cool that Bungie is really listening to their audience. Like, for all we know, if the whole community would have wanted something else, the whole game would have turned out different.
mm-hmm.
Like they're really taking care of the people that play their game. I mean, yeah, sure, the people who have been playing from day one don't like the fact that everyone can get all the map packs and the game for $60. Judging by that face you've got, Mike, that's you. But no one's going to go out and buy World of Warcraft if they have to spend hundreds of dollars on all the expansions that have come out for it.
And it makes sense.
It makes sense. It just kind of sucks for everyone that paid the extra money to get it.
Yeah, but I mean that's if you're a loyal fan, you'll pay it. So I mean, you do what you do. But I am excited for what's going on with this. They had a lot of feedback and the reason they're reacting to this feedback, I think, is for two reasons. One, besides the obvious one, and it's they care about what people say. Yes, I believe that. I believe Bungie actually cares about what people say, but also put in the factor that this is the only game they have for the next 10 years. So they really don't want it because if people talk bad about it now, like Destiny 2 will get a bad rap before it even comes out.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure that people, they do stuff to make people happy and improve the game however they want. They want to improve it the way they want to, but they also want people to be happy, and sometimes those two things don't go along together.
I don't know. I like to think that Bungie seems like they definitely enjoy making their games better.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're listening to their community, and the thing is, the majority of them are players themselves.
Oh yeah,
the majority of those employees there are playing the same way that we are. They're doing the glitch in the Crota raid so that they can so that they can get through without having to have everyone run over with a sword. they're not just us. I mean, they're not just game developers. They're players themselves.
Mm.
So, and I feel like in that way, a lot of people, or a lot of the people at Bungie, realize that the things that we don't like, and they understand it, they get
Mm.
it, and they're like, you know what, they're right. This does suck. We need to change it.
You want to know something interesting? Fun fact for the day:
Hmm.
Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, has put in over 300 hours into Destiny
Oh wow,
on his Xbox One, of course.
on his Xbox One, of course.
But well, interesting enough, he also owns all the current game systems because he just likes playing games.
Huh. I believe it.
But that's
I
your
believe
fun.
it. Just because he's head of Xbox doesn't mean that he like.
It has to be a complete and total dick, which he's not. He's actually a really
Yeah.
cool dude.
But anyway, so with all these points, we can definitely say that Bungie is gonna. If whether you like it or not, it's gonna be something really different from the Destiny that we're used to.
Mhm.
And if you love it, that's great. If you don't like it, go play Black Ops 3.
Yeah, if
I'll
you
be
don't
there.
like it, there's gonna be Fallout 4. There's gonna be Black Ops 3. There's gonna be a bunch of other random shit. Halo 5.
Halo 5.
Halo 5. I almost forgot Halo 5. And yeah, there's Mario Maker.
To quote Mike from an episode a long time ago, it is a great time to be a gamer. It really is.
It's a good time for developers and listening also. The relationship between developers and their players.
Oh yeah, it's all great. It's
So,
all great. It's a great time to be a gamer. But anyway, we are gonna get out of here. Check us out on fanboysofgaming.com for your latest gaming news. Find links in the description below. Also to our Facebook group where you'll find other fans of gaming. My name is Christopher,
I'm Michael,
but not Justin.
and there's no Justin. Not today.
Not today. Not tonight.
We
Day
switched you the last two.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We'll
Have a
see
good
you
night,
in the
folks.
next one.